press, okay, the height is standard, right? Especially for this is an actual competition bench press.
Okay.
So if you're going to be in a like bench press competition, this is standard. Why is that relevant? Well, most benches then are modeled after this. But even if you sit on that compared to this, that's lower.
Okay.
So and the reason why that's lower is because you can get more leg drive. But if they standardize it, they standardize it. Because they standardize it, you see a lot of powerlifters looking a certain way. Their heels are up. There's two reasons why powerlifters' heels are up. One, their tibia and fibia is too short, right? So you sit on this thing, their feet dangle.
Yep.
Right? So obviously they want their feet down. Secondly, within the sport of powerlifting, the heel is up because they're doing what's called a hip tilt. When the bar comes to the bottom and they press, they're driving into the ground, right? Again, remember, their legs are short. A lot of them are. Not all of them, plenty are big dudes and big women, but the point is you can get more hip drive through your toes to a degree. But it only works when the bar, the weight that's on the bar, is heavy enough to anchor you in. So if I push hard and the weight isn't heavy enough, this is what happens, right? So if you have heels up on a bench press, the weight here needs to be so heavy that you can't do this, right? That's the mistake that's made. Heels up is telling me as a coach, this weight is so heavy, you can push as hard as you can against the bench. So you're producing force from the ground. So that's why the people's heels come up, okay? It's taught. But again, the antics that you see in a powerlifting world are utilized because again, if the feet are moving, I'll take this Pepsi challenge against anyone. I can say, hey, get a punching bag that you can measure force, okay? Run in place, hit the bag. Stand stationary and hit the bag, right? So if my feet are moving, the shoulders are not stable, right? If you go to most global gyms in the country and you see people like feet are moving, they're all over the place, and they're struggling with the bar, okay? So go on the feet. Feet are quiet, feet are down, okay? So you're tall enough, and so am I. My suggestion starting point is when you lay back on the bench, okay, feet are flat.
Yep.
Right, and I'm gonna start pulling my feet towards me.
Yep.
So my feet, if you look at them now, the heels are slightly up. See that?
Yep.
Right? Well, if I contract my glutes, watch what happens. Now I've based out.
Okay.
Right? In the same way on the deadlift, right? Before you pull, what do? We create a hip tension. That hip tension allows our shoulder blades to then anchor. Okay? So if the feet are stable and quiet, and I'm driving into the ground, like even if I'm just sitting here, right? Try to sit tall as you can, right? It's hard to do. And then you drive your feet down, now you can sit tall. So that same transfer, right, of energy happens when I'm laying down, right? If I'm loose in the legs, what am I able to push against? Now, granted, I'm laying on the bench, I'm horizontal on the bench, but again, you see a lot of people like this.
Yeah.
If you can bench press 600 pounds, do it, right? This is a challenge for someone that can bench very heavy weight. You unrack it and you do it, great, because now you're basically on an uneven platform, okay? We go back here. If my feet are on the ground, let's provide ourselves the best opportunity to press. Glute contraction, okay? Now, like again, if you're laying on the bench and I flex my glutes, I should be able to come up to you and push on you. If you're loose, I can move you.
Yes.
Like anyone can come up and push the person.
Yeah.
But if I'm anchored in, this is not shifting my momentum. It's not shifting my position. So that's first thing. Second thing is, you see again, we're talking the extreme, the powerlifting side, right? The reason why they go into this big arch is because it's really simple, okay? If I'm posteriorly contracted, like my muscles, my back muscles, as tight as they can be, I've pitched my rib cage up, now I've changed that, again, the angle of the bones determines the function of the muscles. So if my rib cage is pitched up, what I've done is I pulled my serratus in, I pulled my lat in and I pulled my tricep in. Okay? If I go rib cage down, I see what happened to my arm?
Yes.
Okay? So my rib cage is now neutral. Now that stress goes on the pec, primarily. Okay? Not that the pecs aren't working here, but the powerlifting world is going to put you in the advantageous position to do it once.
Yes.
But if I want to do it a bunch of times, and particularly stress out my pecs, let's get in the best position to do that. Okay? So this is great from a powerlifting and from a single rep position. Ribs up, ribs down, feet down. Now, because the humerus, right, the pec attaches on the humerus, on the anterior side, right there, the humerus. Okay? So essentially, the muscles also attach right here. So what I'm trying to do is take the attachment, the end of the rope, take it far away from the other attachment that I can, and now bring it back. Okay, is that, you see what's going on there? Right? If I bring my elbows into here, right, it changes, makes more front delt and tricep. So hand out here is more pec. So long and the short is this. Feet are anchored through a glute contraction. Okay? I'm going to bring the bar out, neutral rib cage. And then the really cool thing is to do is this. You'll see here in a minute. It's like, how do I know I'm in the right position? How to, like, where do I go? You're saying contract your lats and press. Okay? You're going to encounter this with the deadlift, or I'm sorry, with the squat and a few other things, is that, again, if we put the body in the position under load in certain positions, certain muscles have to fire. Okay? So we're going to put you, once we get the body in the right position, we'll get the weight to where we want to move it. Okay? So I want you to think, don't put the, like everything else, like on the deadlift or whatever, don't begin moving the bar or the mass or you in the bar until you're in position to do it. Okay? And so the last piece is once the feet are in position, the next thing is we want to get the lats in position. Right? Because the opposite side of the pec, right, the agonist, antagonist, sort of teeter-totter we talked about, we want to fire the pec as much as we can. Stress it out. And the way we do that is anchor it with its agonist or antagonist. So we really want to, the rhomboids, the lats, everything on the other side of the musculature. So we can't just be in position and flex the lats. We may not be very mobile. So what we're going to do is we're going to let the weight help us get into position. And I'll show you how to do that really simply, okay? And then that will carry over into the push-ups. You know, it'll make sense here in just a sec. So I'm going to anchor my feet through contraction. I might get myself in position, ribs up. I'm going to pull my ribs down just a little bit, right? To still want, you know, I still want to be in a position to have my lats turned on. Okay, I'm going to unrack the bar. Okay? And now, remember the lat flexion? What do? This motion is a lat motion. Okay? So we're going to take that bar and bring it out over the drop zone until the point we go, the lats turn on. Just to hold the weight, because if we let it go, the bar would end up falling in our lap. So we take that bar, we unrack it, and we go like this. We start moving it, slowly moving it down toward your sternum. All of a sudden you'll go, lats will turn on. And now from there, down, up. You'll find that your lat will turn on with that bar will be directly over the bottom of your sternum. Okay, so I'll show you here. You'll see it. It's pretty interesting. So where it's like, you know, what's the best position to get in? Where do I bring the bar up and down? I always just say, put it over the drop zone. Well, now I'm like, well, turn the muscles on. You'll see here in a second. Okay, get my feet in a good position. I bring my heels back, like I said, so they slightly come off the ground.
Yep.
Now I contract my glutes. Bam.
Heels are on the ground.
Boom. Yep. I'm pushing outward a little bit and driving my feet down. Okay. The effort, the force I'm putting in the ground is commensurate to the weight I'm moving or the level of fatigue I'm feeling, right? So initially I'm putting in hard, but I don't have to do super hard. But as I get tired, I gotta start clamping this thing down because that's gonna get weak.
Yep.
It's gonna get tired up here. So we wanna support this up here by anchoring that lower body, right? With an isometric contraction, okay? Work my way up, my feet are anchored. They're flexing the ground, okay? bar, unwrap the bar, okay? Now as I bring the bar down towards my belly button, slowly, all of a sudden, lats turn on right there, okay? Now, that bar you're gonna see touches right where I said it would, right above, right at the bottom of the sternum, okay? Now the bar isn't gonna, I don't come up and then release tension again, okay? Bar is over drop zone, lats turn on. See, watch my elbows. Watch my elbows turn in. Catch the weight. If I don't, it'll fall. It'll just keep going like a falling tree. So I go, keep moving a little bit, all of a sudden, bam, right there.
See, yeah,
See that?
Yep.
Now the bar is bottom of my sternum, still driving my feet down. Bottom of my sternum, feet down. So why is that important? Like I said in the pool this morning, if you know you're in the right position, like on a breathing for example, your touch points are the same. If your body is in a consistently economic position on the bench press, for example, right here, I know that the bar should touch the same place roughly every time. Now I know that my economy of movement is there because my position is stable. If the bar is not touching the same place, either I'm not letting it come down, like I'm changing my arc or my path, or my body is moving and adjusting while I'm trying to move this sucker. Does that make sense? So that's like, it is the starting block. Get yourself in the position. Do it 3 or 4 reps, right? Sit back up, breathe a little bit, go back down. Go through the system again. System check. Feet, glutes, got it. Hips. Lay down. Neutral rib cage. Unrack the weight. Over the drop zone. Lats fire. Breathe. Down, up, down, up, down, up. Rack. So on and so forth. Okay. So your warm up is initially, it's neurological. It's like if you go through this process, for example, and you're like, man, I'm having a hard time just getting everything to fire. That's not working. I don't know what's going on. And you're like, well, are my feet in place? Yes. Are my hips stable? Yes. Are my ribs neutral? Yes. Am I unracking the weight? Fine, no issues. You know, I can't seem to get the lats on. It's not moving right. Red flag. Like, what's going on? Okay. So then we maybe do something different, whatever else is. Really, it's lighten the weight, see if we can engage. Okay. So does that make sense? What's going on here? It's like, create that system check. Okay, and now we think, because you do hear a lot, like, it's also stems from the powerlifting world. It's like, hey, finish high, finish high. Why are they finishing high? Because they're racking it. They're not in a competition, aren't worried about going, they're worried about getting it down and going, finish high. Why? Because then they're going to get the green light and they're going to rack it.
Yeah.
Okay? So I'm not, because we want to go rep after rep after rep, what we don't want to do is bench press in a parabola. We don't want the bar to do that. Okay, we want to bring it out over the drop zone. Robot, bang, bang. Hold position, hold position. When I can no longer hold position, right, we take a break, we're make a change, because that's the first indicator, right? When you can no longer hold position to move, it's like you can use the same context of baseball. Right? Take swings, take 3, 4, 5 swings, step out of the batter's box, do it again. It's not bucket of balls, swing after swing after swing.
Yeah.